The short-term renewal of a key counterterrorism tool is now awaiting President Trump's signature. The Senate Friday followed the House in passing an interim extension of a controversial section of FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram takes a look.
The House and Senate finally syncing up on FISA.
Without objection, the bill is engrossed. Read a third time.
The bill is passed.
But not for long, just 13 days. The House lurched overnight from the president's demand of an 18-month FISA renewal to a 5-year reauthorization, which lawmakers blocked. They then backpedaled to an emergency bill salvaging FISA.
What was Churchill's line, democracy is the worst form of government except for all the others. So sometimes it gets kind of messy when you're trying to craft together an agreement.
Democrats appalled at the nocturnal whiplash.
Are you kidding me? Who the hell is running this place? And Republicans threw it together on the back of a napkin in a back room in the middle of the night.
An eclectic alliance of Democrats and Republicans sinking a long-term FISA extension.
The coalitions around FISA have traditionally been kind of scrambled.
Staunch conservatives arguing for muscular spy powers.
Failing to reauthorize the statutory authority would be a massive setback and one that our adversaries would exploit immediately.
Liberals worried about government overreach.
There have been so many abuses, lately, and this is only going to grow with artificial intelligence.
Congressional leaders trying to strike a balance.
What we're trying to do is thread the needle of ensuring that we have this essential tool to keep Americans safe, but also safeguard our constitutional rights.
FISA skeptics insist on warrants so the government doesn't vacuum up phone records of everyday Americans.
We just want to make sure that the guardrails are there.
Despite his reservations, Ron Wyden declined to block the bill in the Senate. He says it would be tougher to impose reforms if FISA had lapsed. Back to you.
Chad, thank you. For more on this, let's bring in Virginia Congressman Ben Cline, member of the House Judiciary Committee. It is called the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. It is supposed to be directed at overseas bad actors. So why are members of Congress so concerned about vacuuming up information from Americans?
Well, quite simply, when those foreign actors are talking to American citizens, those American citizens have rights that deserve protection under our Constitution. So making sure that there are adequate safeguards in place, warrant requirements are a good example of changes that we can make to improve it so that our constitutional liberties are protected while we are protecting the national security of the country.
So there is a 13-day extension of the FISA authorization in place. In 13 days, it doesn't seem like much can get done on Capitol Hill. How confident are you that a longer-term extension or a longer-term change in this law can be crafted?
We were very close last week. We had a number of reforms that were being discussed and bridging that gap between the Freedom Caucus and the more national security focused members. And because of extraneous issues that were being demanded, the whole package ended up being tanked. But we think that we can bring it back. Those reforms are still on the table. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we can get this across the finish line.
Let's turn our attention to what's going on in Virginia this week. You are one of 5 Republican members of Congress representing districts in that state. There are 6 Democrats. And the Democratic governor there and others want to redraw the lines. There's going to be a vote on that on Tuesday in an election that potentially could give 10 seats, as many as 10 seats, to Democrats. Your thoughts?
Well, you said it. Going from a 6-5 map in a purple state to a 10-1 Democrat map is just a political partisanship to an extreme. And our governor has really pulled a bait and switch. Abigail Spanberger ran on not doing anything with redistricting, running as a moderate, governing instead as a liberal, and embracing this gerrymander scheme. So voters don't like that. They have seen the gun control coming out of Richmond this year during this General Assembly session. She's signing these bills into law. So our part of Virginia is very exercised, very upset. They're turning out to vote, and I'm optimistic we're going to defeat it on Tuesday.
Well, Senator Tim Kaine from your state, a Democrat, says that this is all about blocking President Trump and some of his moves. Listen.
We're deeply worried that Donald Trump will try to interfere with the election results this November or in 2028, because we saw him do it before. And we have to have a Congress that will stand up to it. In 2021, all 5 Republicans in Virginia went along with Donald Trump in his effort to overturn election results. And so we're giving Virginians a chance to vote, which Republican states have not done, about whether they want to have a congressional delegation that will stand up against Donald Trump's tyranny if he tries to interfere with our elections.
You agree with that assessment? He says this is all about standing up to Donald Trump.
Well, I disagree in the strongest terms. It's partisan hackery to say that we're giving voters the chance when they're trying to amend the Constitution to undo what voters put in the Constitution 5 years ago when we established nonpartisan redistricting. We got the maps that the voters demanded. We have communities of interest, contiguous maps and compact districts, and voters want to keep it that way. So voters are going to reject Tim Kaine's partisan rhetoric and reject this constitutional amendment on Tuesday.
Well, you say that, but according to our Fox News polling, the vote potentially could be quite close. Likely voters say they would vote yes on this redistricting plan, 52% to 47%. Now there's a 3.4% margin of error here, so this really could go either way. You're confident that voters won't like this idea and won't vote for it?
Voters don't like this idea. They don't like the idea of rural voices being diminished. They don't like the idea of experienced members of Congress being thrown out simply because of partisan rhetoric, partisanship in the chamber, and they want fair maps, and that's why voters are going to vote no on Tuesday.
But the governor is pushing it, and, she just got elected there.
She did, and she has seen her favorability ratings plummet by over 12 points down to a bare 47-46 favorability rating. She's got the lowest favorability ratings of any governor in Virginia in the modern era, and that's because she bait and switched the voters. She ran as a moderate, she ran against redistricting, and now she's championing it. And voters are expressing their displeasure at the polls.
All right, Virginia Congressman Ben Cline, a Republican. We'll see what happens on Tuesday and see if you can maintain your seat and those of the other 4 Republicans still in office there. Thanks very much.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.